Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Commander the Gathering, the podcast, because I couldn't come up with a better name. My name, of course, is Franken's TCG. I'm one of your co-hosts, and I'm here, of course, with our other co-host, which is the Fresh Maker. Fresh, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Looking forward to talking about some cards.
Talking about some murder. That's about as murderish as I can really get it out of my head, because my head doesn't work very well. And of course, we have a special guest, which is Tom from Attack on Cardboard. Tom, how you doing?
Hello, I'm very tired. Buying cats and dogs at 4 a.m. It makes me tired.
And yes, well, I mean, for 8 hours it was raining cats and dogs until Wizards finally ran out of stock. Bad joke. Bad joke.
Better than running out too soon, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. And
or the cluster hell that was 30th anniversary.
Oh god.
I got very lucky with that one, but I never want to experience that again.
Wait, you bought
Advent
terribly.
Calendar?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For a second there, I thought you were
not the
talking about
boxes.
Oh,
yeah.
No, screw that.
I thought you were talking about the $1,000 proxies that are just the weirdest decision Wizards have probably ever made.
Yeah, it's very sad I missed out on the Advent Calendar. It's got a lot of bangers in it.
Mm-hmm. So I think that we will start with speaking about or talking about some Murders at Karlov Manor spoilers. Then after that, I think we will talk a little bit about what we think is fair play in our commander pods. I think, actually, thinking about it first, I want to touch a little bit on the dreaded thing that's been happening on mostly the Facebook pages at the moment, which is a little bit of a talk about proxies. How do we feel about proxies? Because I'm gonna say, like, I'm all for people proxying cards in their deck that they can't afford or are literally too expensive or can't get a hold of. And we're talking like, sure, Shocklands keep getting reprinted, which is great, which is going to bring their prices down. But I mean, obviously we'll never get dual lands again. Dual lands are like sitting at the base 300 and, you know, up to like $2,000 cost, which to me is just a lot of money for a card that'll never be reprinted. So I'm all for proxies.
It will never be reprinted with a regular Magic the Gathering back.
Well, yeah. I mean, didn't they at one point say that they just never reprint it blank? Like, regardless of...
But they did, though. They did in the 30th.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was going to say...
So they can reprint them, just not with a Magic the Gathering back.
Not a tournament legal version.
Yeah, which is fine. Wizards, just put out more gold-bordered copies. That'd be great. I miss those world stacks, I'm going to tell you. I do, because they were great.
Yeah, I do have a couple of those kicking around. Not the whole decks. A couple of cards from those kicking around.
I used to have a whole bunch of the decks from, I think, the first and the second year that they were doing them. But then at one point, when I took a massive hiatus, I think it was like a 2-year hiatus, would have been around... I don't even remember, actually. Maybe about Lorwyn, I think, possibly, around that era. And I sold off everything. My entire collection was I just got rid of it all. My judge cards, everything. I was like completely bailed for a couple of years. Can't remember what other game I was playing, but I was definitely playing another TCG, that's for sure. Whether it be WWE Raw Deal or maybe it was Dragon Ball Scored, Dragon Ball Z. I can't remember. But Tom, how do you feel about proxies?
I think proxies are fine, but it needs to have what I would believe a rule -1 conversation. So this isn't a rule 0 conversation that you have when you're sitting down at a table, because I would love to run a deck with, you know, jewels, fast mana, and things like that. But obviously I don't have those cards. So I bring what I've got. It sucks that if I just bring my decks and then someone rocks up and is like, hey, are proxies okay? And they're kitted out with everything. Meanwhile, I'm only working with whatever collection that I've got. So like, sure, proxies are fine as long as it's mentioned way ahead of time. Like, it would be nice if I could pull together some proxies and actually play like a proxy group. But I feel like it's a bit. Again, it brings into the power and balance dynamic, right? The whole reason people are proxying is because of the unbalance between whales and people who can't afford, a single land for $500. The proxies are to bring balance there. But if I rock up to a casual commander pod and my opponent is proxying everything and I'm just playing with the collection I scrounged together, it feels a bit shit to play against.
And I think you just hit it like right on the head. See, I'm okay with proxies outside of casual commander because casual commander you're not aiming for like the very highest of high power levels, right? So it feels a bit weird when somebody goes into a casual pod with a whole bunch of like, proxies that would be $1,000 cards or whatever. Thousands of dollars of cards. The CEDH, I understand it because they are. I mean, they're still a format that's still up and coming. Let's be honest. They like a lot of their players and a lot of their community figureheads have said the same thing, which is they want to allow proxies because they don't want to gatekeep people from being able to play CEDH because they want the format as open as possible, and that means that some people do need to proxy those cards. But in a casual pod, I'm like, if you're bringing, real expensive cards that are proxies, I don't even know the way to say it, to like a casual pod, I start wondering what you're doing and what you're playing. Like,
yeah. So I mean, and then that's what leads into the rule zero conversation. Like when I used to run commander nights at a local gamer bar. I remember just walking around, making sure everyone's okay, and just seeing a pod where there's 3 people playing their regular everyday connections, and then just someone else with a fully proxied out deck. And I was like, "Oh, did you ask the table if you could proxy?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, seems fair. Good job."
Yeah, I find that the most of the problems that people have with proxies are not actually with proxies. It's more how you construct your deck, but also construct your play group and the communication with your play group and be like, okay, what are we actually aiming for here? It's like, sure, maybe I can't afford like some of the $50 cards that I want to play that aren't like the toppest tier power level, but I still want to, have a decent deck. I'm not going for CDH, but I want to have like, I don't know, the new Sholdred or whatever, and be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it all comes back to rule zero conversation, which I'm going to be making another video on because people clearly are not having rule zero conversations enough. I remember people saying, "Oh, I don't want to sit down at a commander table when they've got all this high power in their deck or these universes beyond cards." It's like, well, okay, talk to your table, have a rule zero conversation, just talk. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. The hardest thing about Magic the Gathering, being social with other people.
Yeah, especially being a format that is supposed to be that damn social. Like, people should be talking. I mean, I guess not so much the universes beyond cards, because for me it's like, if it's legal in Commander, go for it. But like, anything that's banned or proxied or whatever, like, you definitely should be having that conversation. You should also be having the tier 0 conversation, like, who is your commander? What is, how does your deck win? What is your pathway?
30-second elevator pitch.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, our friends over at Get Commander podcast do the same thing. Like, when they do their streams or when they sit down to pods, they do their 30-second elevator pitch, because it makes sense to do, rather than sitting down at a table, not discussing it with everyone, shuffling up, and then revealing that, you're playing Eureka, which, and I'm not at fault for this, because I say it anytime I pull out Eureka, which is going to be different now because I no longer play the deck in casual pods. But my Eureka is slow, and it's built slow because it's built for stream. But always having that discussion with people, hey, are you okay with me playing Eureka? This is how Eureka works. This is how this particular deck is tuned. this isn't like a turn 3 win or anything like that. This is more like turn 10. So everyone at the table will get to do their stuff. There's a chance that I'll probably just lose if I get a bad card draw. Is everyone okay with that? And I think that proxies are pretty much mostly the same kind of discussion, but on the back end of that is like, then there's some cards that you've got to be going, okay, well, but why are you proxying this? Like, you don't need to proxy this reserve list card or whatever it might be, this, very expensive card, because it's of a higher power than you're looking to play in a casual pod. That's why CEDH do a lot of proxies, because they're playing at a much higher competitive tier. So yeah, I don't know, that thing.
Yeah, communication important.
Yeah,
and it would be nice, as we said as well, for Wizards to, they don't acknowledge the secondary market, to at least not acknowledge the fact that people still want to play, the 30th anniversary cards. They just don't want to pay $1,000 for 4 booster packs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that still blows my mind that they charge $1,000. Like they didn't proxies. Have to. Yeah, for proxies, like even if they put them down to like what, $50 a booster pack, and they sold them in lots of 4, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, like $50 is still outrageous.
I would have gone in at $50 a booster pack. I absolutely would have, right? Because that's
maybe one just for like the 30th anniversary sake. But
I would have got a box of 4 because it's still cheaper than a collector booster box, and it's still like, a collector's item. It's like the old collector sets, right? Like, those things were made in a much more limited supply. So don't even get me started on that. But if I had have gotten my hands on some of those, I would have kept those and never sold them. They would have just been like, look at this cool collector's item that I have that I can put on my shelf, and some of the cards in it I can pull out for decks, at some point for more competitive formats.
Yeah, I think at that price they're almost comparable to the sort of master set collector boosters, where you get only a small amount of collector boosters, and it ends up at, what was it, like $200 to $300 a box or something.
400 for a pack of 4.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't look at things that are that expensive, so it's like it's completely over my head. So I'm like, okay, I don't need to think about this at all.
And
like,
everyone that is
about this.
It is Australian dollars. I know that our money is like
oh yeah,
it's $2 for you guys, and it's $400 for us. I get it. Actually, it's funny because I opened a recent release Double Masters Collector's box from, like, what was it, like last year or whatever. And I got that for $199.
I think Gameology were doing them at like 50% off or something like that.
Yeah, they were, but they were still a bit more expensive than the Gamesman.
I did get it on the end of year sale.
Yeah,
it was like one Double Masters 2020 whatever booster box, the second Double Masters.
Yeah, exactly. Doctor Who hasn't dropped in price yet, but like I was looking at a whole bunch of the old collector boxes, not all of them, but a bunch of recent ones have like dropped to the $200 mark. So that's very interesting, considering that, either these businesses are taking a loss or somebody maybe inflated how much retailers were buying the boxes at, which is very possible. Say that with a little bit of trepidation, because I know how much they were getting them at, and I know that a couple of stores were maybe inflating how much they were paying from the distributor. Yeah, that was a thing. Alright, do we want to talk about some murder cards?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I feel like we want to. Now, Tom, I know that you've prepared like 1,000 of them. Pretty much
just in case.
Pretty much half the set. So I thought that I might go first, and then Fresh, you might go with a couple, and then we'll let Tom go with a couple of, or the rest, or whatever.
Sure. I bet.
Depending on how many he wants to go through. Just because that way I feel like we probably will cross over on a couple of the same cards.
Mm.
But yeah. So I mean, look, this set looks pretty good. I had not even a glance, but more like checking it out just to try and see if there was stuff that I can fit into my decks that would make me very, very happy. And there is some stuff in this set that I'm really keen to get my hands on. So I'm going to start with a rare. And that is Treacherous Greed. I don't know if anyone saw this. This is one colorless, one white, one black for an instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice a creature that dealt damage this turn. Now, that in itself sounds a bit like iffy, but when you're thinking about my tax deck, you're gonna pretty much figure out where this is going. Draw 3 cards, each opponent loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life. Now, there's also some token generation in this set, which is great. And I'm sure that I can maybe include some token generation or some creatures that I don't mind dying into my Lisa Death and Taxes deck. But this instance seems real good to me, especially the fact that it sacrificed a creature that dealt damage, not combat damage, just any damage.
Mm-hmm.
So with the amount of reanimation that you can put in an Orzhov deck, especially with like Lisa, you can just like basically sacrifice say your Kumbal and then just reanimate your Kumbal on your turn anyway. So it actually...
What's the wording on Extort? Is Extort the creature that deals the damage, or is it if you cast a spell, if you do each opponent? So the keyword ability is on the creature. It says so. The keyword says whenever you cast a spell, you may play hybrid. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life. But yeah, so all your extort creatures will come into play here.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Which means it's going to be... I mean, still just as good, but maybe a little bit better?
Oh, wait, hold on.
Wait.
Into this?
This is
no.
It doesn't work that way.
I was going to say, damage equals loss of life. Loss of life doesn't equal damage. Never mind.
Yeah. Because I just looked that up and I was like, yeah, no, that's not how that works. Yeah. Anyway, I think that this is going to be incredibly good for my Lisa deck, regardless. Because one of the things that I have noticed with the Lisa deck is it wants to draw cards and it rarely draws cards that like enough cards, and this digging 3 deep is really nice. So I'm very happy with that. Another one, and this is going to be an interesting one because I don't actually have a deck that this would technically go in just yet, and that is because I'm building a Loki deck, a Loki MCU deck for a deck tech at some point that I'm going to put up on YouTube, which is Volrath the Shapestealer. And the card from Murder is going to be Urgent Necropsy. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but that's what it looks like. My brain's not working. Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Necropsy.
It's going to be a long day. Yeah. This is 2 colors, a black and a green for another instant at Mythic. As an additional cost to cast a spell, collect evidence X, where X is the total mana value of the permanents this spell targets. Alright, so first up, we all know that black X generally has some mill reanimation component. So we know we're going to be able to mill some stuff, so evidence should be good. Should be good. Plus, I mean, even if you're going towards the late game with this, or the mid game, generally speaking, there's probably been a board wipe or something. You've probably got stuff in there that you can evidence for this anyway. Destroy up to 1 target artifact, up to 1 target creature, up to 1 target enchantment, and up to 1 target planeswalker. I can't help but feel that this has me written all over it. This just sounds like the kind of effect that I'm absolutely going to jam into a deck and just go, yep, that makes sense to be in my deck, because that is just a whole lot of like destroy that just makes me very happy.
It
Yeah.
kills tokens.
Yeah,
Does
kills
kill
tokens for
tokens.
free. Oh,
Mm.
not. I mean,
Not more.
yeah, regular tokens, not copies.
Yeah.
But yeah. Um. Yeah, I like this card. I like decimates in general. It's kind of cool to just blow up a bunch of different things. You have to hit
I
the
like,
evidence.
yeah, I really like the wording on this that's up to, instead of you have to destroy 1 1 1 1 1.
Yeah, I mean, if
The
you had to destroy
vicious
them
deed.
all, then it would be really hard to get to
The
work.
finisher state.
That's the one that's pay X, destroy. Was it non-land permanents with mana value X?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Pernicious Deed vibes, Decimate vibes. What's the big 6 mana one from War of the Spark as well?
Casualties of War.
Yeah, casualties.
Yes, Casualties of War.
Gross. Get
And
that
for
shit
those
out
who
of here.
don't know, collecting evidence is exiling with total mana value of whatever value it asks for. In this case, it's a variable. Sometimes it's just an integer.
I didn't realize that this didn't have that reminder text. For some reason, my brain just went, "Yep, everyone knows what collect evidence is."
This is one of the only ones that doesn't, because it's X and in the middle of an ability.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I
What
also
do you
like
think
that.
the sweet spot for the collect is going to be?
Ooh.
It's either 3 or 4, right? It's
Yeah.
4 hits most powerful planeswalkers, decent chunk of enchantments.
Well, this is a little bit
Total
different,
mana
right?
value, though.
Because exactly. This is total mana value of those permanents.
Oh,
So if you
totally.
hit
That's
2
where
4-drops,
this
you need
is.
8 mana worth of
Okay.
collect.
Yeah, this is
Right,
where this
I
is.
unrate this card then.
Yeah.
It's not as good as I thought it was.
It's got to be in a
Not.
real dedicated mill, and you don't care about your graveyard kind of a deck, like a real not dredge, delvey kind of feel to
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That's why I think it's probably going to be good in my clonish deck.
Mm.
Especially considering the fact that like I feel like it's probably say this about every one of my decks, but I feel like it's one of those things that are gonna force people to like board wipe me to get my clones off the board
Sure.
from doing dumb shit. Just doing dumb guy shit. You know what I'm saying? The last one that I have is probably my least favorite because it's at sorcery speed, and I don't like tutors at sorcery speed. But this is Analyze the Pollen for 1 green. It is a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect evidence 8. Search your library for a basic land card. If evidence was collected, instead, search your library for a creature or land card, reveal that card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle.
Okay.
It's a big evidence cost.
It's a big evidence cost.
Big.
But, I mean, you know, you're either searching for a basic land or you're collecting evidence 8 to go for any land card or any creature card.
Yeah, okay. So what turn are you expecting to be able to collect evidence 8?
Well, again, I feel like this is probably just going to be like a middle of the road card. That's why I was like, I like it. I think it's cool. But at the same time, I'm like, it's a bit expensive on the evidence cost because 8 is, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. So I feel like it probably also is going to be in one of those like kind of stitches decks that, you know, like the self-mill decks. You're milling yourself out for whatever particular reason.
Yeah. I think in Commander specifically, sure, the creature tutor is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm just running like Sylvan Scrying or something instead for 1 more mana and no hoops to jump through, just for a land. And like, you also have access to Worldly Tutor if you're in this or any other
You've got like so many worldly shooter,
Shooters.
port of cording,
Especially if
in
you're
some
crossing like
zenith.
black as well. If you're crossing into black, you've also got like demonic tutor, vamp tutor, all that sort of stuff.
Oh well, black is just
So-
black's ridiculous, but like if you're in green, white, you have Eladamri's Call for 2 creatures
Mm-hmm.
at instant speed. Yeah, the sorcery is really letting this one down. The evidence
Yeah.
is
That's why it's on my list as like something I thought was kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like it just doesn't have the hype factor, and I guess that's why it's a rare, not a mythic. But it's just like I
it's an
want to
interesting
play
rare.
it, but I feel like it's gonna help me out after maybe a board wipe.
Yeah.
What do you got, Fresh?
All right. First up, I'm a big fan. I've got a Lonus deck, the old Lonus, not the new one that's in this set. I'll get to that in a second. But in my Lonus deck, I'm really going to enjoy the Sharp-Eyed Rookie, which is a 2-mana 2/2 with Vigilance. We got a Vigilant Bear, and whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, its power is greater than Sharp-Eyed Rookie's power, or its toughness is greater than Sharp-Eyed Rookie's toughness. You put a +1 counter on it, and you investigate. You get a free clue there as well. So it's the evolve mechanic from previous Ravnica sets, and you get a clue alongside it. And I mean, the deck is full of creatures and wants more clues on the battlefield. And this is like, I love a vigilance. Vigilance is just such a good mechanic. It's like maybe one of my favorite keywords because I'm always tentative to swing at people because I'm like, what about the crackback? Am I gonna get owned for doing this?
Vigilance is definitely one of the best keywords in Magic when it comes to like EDH, when it comes to multiplayer Magic.
Yeah.
This card and clues. Give me more clues. I love clues. I think clues are very cool. Abusably so in this set. And I think that yeah. I'm just a really big fan of like extra card draw.
Yeah. And as much as I love all the stuff that they've been doing, little dinky artifact you can do stuff with, I still stick by maybe all of these extra little tokens maybe shouldn't have been artifacts, because the artifact synergies are just through the roof with like treasures and clues and food and etc. The list goes on.
Yeah, I think that like wizards,
they're like untyped or had their own type of like a little trinket type or whatever. Who knows?
I think that at some point Wizards gonna have to back off on what they're doing with artifacts, because it's just like maybe just getting a little dumb at this point, like a little bit stupid. It's just a little bit much.
Right. What else we got here? I got a little list that I made. I mean, this is a fun one. We got a Vein Ripper. I do love my mono black vampires.
Blood Artist, large and in charge son.
Yep. Mr. Blood Artist's dad is here. Got a 6/5 flyer for 3 black. It has ward, sacrifice a creature, and whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. My goodness. This is going right into Yahenni. I do love to sacrifice a creature. I love vampires. They're so cool.
This is going in so many dumb decks. I'm gonna see it so much.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it because it's good, really good. But at the same time, it's like I kind of wish like take a keyword off and make it cheaper for me. But then it'd probably be even more broken. So yeah, 2 life as well. Big swings.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's a lot of difference between losing 1 life and 2 life, but it really adds up. Board wipe, 10 creatures, and that's 20 life. What else is really jumping out at me here? Okay, there are a couple of cards here. I'm tinkering with trying to build a Eudora deck. If you're familiar with that, it's a creature that when your creatures die, they return flipped as forests on your battlefield. And there's a couple of extra cards with the new disguise mechanic that's been released that help you re-buy those cards, basically, because they come back flipped. And same way that Morph works with this deck, you get to pay their disguise cost to unforest them back into their creatures.
Yeah.
So the ones that I'm
kind of think
looking
Gavin
at-
was maybe talking about that kind of like how good it is as a commander for like flipping stuff back over and stuff. I was like, oh no.
So yeah, there's a couple I'm looking at. We've got Nervous Gardener here. When it's a 2-mana 2/2. That when it's turned face up, you search your library for a land with a basic type and reveal it and put it into your hand, and then shuffle. And it unflips for a single green mana. And disguise, you pay 3 generic to have it as a 2/2 with ward face down. So yeah, I just think that's it. You get to pay a single mana to get your creature back, basically, and then tutor up a forest every time that happens. If you ever run out of lands or need to thin your deck or whatever, just turn your forest back into a creature that gets you another forest.
That sounds kind of gross. I'll tap my forest to turn my forest back into a creature?
Yeah, tap itself. You can have it and then replace itself with another
And then
land.
I mean,
And
what
if it
color
dies,
is that commander again?
Just mono green.
Okay, so if you play it
You
in
can
the
search up the
99...
surveil land. Oh wait,
Oh,
no, you
true.
can't. It's
They're
monocolored. Never mind.
multicolored. Yeah, that's right. You can do it in other decks, but
Yeah, I was going to
very
say,
fun.
play it in the 99 and play it as part of the stupid turtle deck.
The turtle deck.
Goddamn
Which
turtle.
one? There's so many turtles.
I think everyone knows the untappy turtle that I'm talking about. The stupid one.
Oh yes, the
Yeah.
stasis turtle.
Stasis turtle, yes.
And the other green flippy card I'm looking at is Flourishing Bloomkin. Has +1/+1 for each forest you control. It's a 2-mana 0/0 at the start though. And when it's turned face up, you search your library for 2 forests, reveal them, 1 onto the battlefield, 1 into your hand. So cultivate for 2 forests, and it flips for 5, which is it's more, but you get a big creature and the lands out to the field and hand. And it's it's cheap on the front end, so you don't have to disguise it for 3. You just send it out as a, I don't know what the generic term for a creature is, as big as land, like a Maro or whatever.
I was thinking Multani, but yeah, Maro, I guess.
Multani, yeah. So yeah, those are some that I've been looking at. How about you, Tom? Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, has anyone actually coined a term for the Maro / Multani type creatures?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of names for a lot of different creatures, bears and grey ogres and all sorts of different things, but there's probably like a glossary page somewhere that someone made up. But yeah, Tom,
I'm actually surprised. None of you named any of my cards on my list. So
oh, fantastic! We threaded the needle.
Yeah, I got lots to talk about then. All right, so to make your lives easier, I've got all the links ready to go. So first card, I believe it got spoiled this morning. Outrageous Robbery. The X black instant. Target opponent exiles the top X cards of their library face down. You may look at those cards and play them for as long as they may remain exiled. If you cast a spell this way, spend mana of any color.
Not gonna lie.
Here's the.
Oh.
This was on my previous list, and I actually took it off because I was like, if we can at least stick to 3 cards, because this goes in my Villainous Wealth deck.
I was going to say the dream, because it's the key thing here is, everyone remember Praetor's Grasp?
Mm-hmm.
It does the same thing, but it's sorcery speed, and you get to search the deck. So the dream here is you let them vamp tutor or worldly tutor and then just for 1 and 2 black. Blank. What do you search for? That's mine now. And then if you have any extra mana, you just obviously dip in and yeah, that's currently the dream. Probably going to go in some miserable. What's the pirate from the last set? Don
Andreas.
Don Andreas. He gives all the creatures you steal +2/+2 and menace.
You're just gonna go for a thievery deck, aren't you?
You just do some Robin.
Yeah.
Get a in Bolus's clutches in there.
Yeah, if I had my Gonti deck still together, this would be going in for sure.
I feel like I'm gonna end up building. I'm probably gonna end up using the Loki deck as an IRL deck rather than a stream deck.
Gonna be cheeky with stuff.
It's gonna be very
the problem
cheeky.
with the Centriplets and Don Andreas and like all these sorts of cards is they're terrible for spell table. You just can't play them on spell table.
People try and it drives me fucking nuts.
Whip out the Infinity tokens and be real clear with what you're up to.
I'm
Otherwise
just
it gets very confusing very quickly, especially if you have trouble seeing the board.
Yeah, it sounds like just not worth it.
Yeah. Pretty much anything that makes me, generally speaking, pretty much anything that makes me have to get something from an opponent's deck or, exile something from the top of their deck to play, etc. I just take out of my decks because I'm like, it doesn't, it's not fun for stream, it's not fun for me, everyone gets to see it. I think I'll just not do that and not impact the table, but IRL, bets are off.
Which is such a shame because my favorite creature in all of Magic is Atali. So,
well, yeah, I
am hamstrung in that way that I have to build other decks that can work on stream.
Atali is a bit more fair in that way, I guess. Still not great, but it's Atali and people just
that I have to
expect that they're going to see it. No, my least favorite one was whenever Caitlin would play Danny's oh geez, the card is in my head, the artifact. The Mindslaver deck. Where it was just
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'll just Mindslaver you and then no one else gets a turn ever because I'll just Mindslaver everyone over and over and over and over and over. It's just
the old Mindslaver lock.
Yeah, can we not? Which is why it got built into the 10 commandments for Command of the Gathering / distancing, that we didn't want infinite stuff going on because it was just that was horrible. I think that was one of the worst streams I felt like we've ever done, and we've done some pretty bad streams over the years.
All right, let's hear some more cards.
All right. Following on from that, we'll be moving into green. Have you guys seen this? Undergrowth Recon. It's a green enchantment, colorless, green. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped.
Yes, because I was thinking about this for the lands deck, and I was like, this seems a little bit better than I thought it should be.
This is really good. Obviously, the degenerate stuff that you do is just Wasteland. Is it Wasteland or Strip Mine? Are they both allowed, or is one of them banned? I forget.
No, they're both allowed. One of them only hits non-basics.
Oh, there you go. You can run if you want to be really degenerate. You can do that, or just being nice. There's the Discover lands in from Lost Caverns. You can just do over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
There's all the other utility lands.
I'm sorry. Did you just deal with my Marit Lage? That's okay. He's about to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one takes a couple of turns. Yeah.
Then the fact that the flaw for this card is it just ramps you. I was like, okay.
Yep.
It's almost on rate for is it Wild Growth? It's just an enchantment, and then you just get to do it every turn.
Yeah.
Pretty I don't know what deck. I mean, this
Boy.
obviously goes in nearly any deck that's playing green. Probably Thalia and the Gitrog monster. I want it
Oof.
to go into.
I
Just
wonder-
general Gitrog monster is pretty good.
Oh yeah,
I feel like I have to check if limited resources is banned in Commander,
yes, it is.
because otherwise that would be very unhappy times. What was the other one? Squandered resources.
Oh, squandered resources. That one isn't. I thought limited resources was like the ultimate win con.
Yeah, I think it is.
But yeah, it's any sort of Gitrog flavored shenanigans that you're up to, this card is probably going in. Any kind of
Yeah, it seems
inconsequential
really easy.
mill stuff. If you're running a Crucible of Worlds, you might also be running this card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If possible.
Oh no, wait. Limited resources is
and-
the one that locks down land count.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, squandered resources, you sack a land.
Sack a land. Yeah, it used to be part of a Type 1.5 a Drain Life deck before they changed how Drain Life would affect your life total.
Sure.
Because there was a whole thing where you could go into the negative and just basically kill somebody on like turn 2 or turn 3.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I loved that deck to death. To the point where I was playing it at side events in like GPs, like, what, 20 years ago? Yeah, that was the thing.
And I know that this is a Commander podcast, but I really like the idea of this in like standard, where they've just printed like spelunking.
You just basic
which has,
check them.
Ooh.
spelunking that has your lands come in untapped instead, and like you can just, I don't know, you could crack discover lands all day and they'll come back untapped.
Imagine having two of them in play.
Yeah, look at my weird caving deck. What does it do? Creates big caves. How? Well, you see, I sacrifice this, I do this, and then what is it called? Not meld with caves.
Oh, craft.
Is it craft? Yeah, craft with caves. I'll just
I think
like
craft exiles, but yes.
Yeah.
And I get the gist.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like you just put it in the cave deck anyway, because then you're gonna like dump them in there now and again, and then eventually like create a big enough cave that you're just gonna like, look at all this value I've got, and plus I use my discover to go and like get these enchantments into play so that they keep bringing the lands back. Oh, you know, actually there is a commander deck I think that could be built around this. Do you know what deck it is?
For sure.
It's probably Gates.
That's funny.
Oh yeah.
My favorite deck. Oh, come on. Yeah, it was a whole thing that at one point there were two decks that I wasn't allowed to play on stream anymore. One of them was the Gates deck. Because it was just, you know, it wasn't Turbo Gates or anything, but it was like I would wait until turn 5 and just win. And the other one was obviously Yuriko. So maybe I bring the Gates deck back for another run.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and they just printed a new Evolving Wilds that lets you have a creature be unblockable. You either get to search up a land or sacrifice it for.
Yeah, talk about power creep.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, get that back every turn. Incredible.
Sounds great to me. So for those wondering at home, squandered resources is 1 black, 1 green for an enchantment from Visions. Sacrifice a land, add to your mana pool 1 mana of any type that land could produce. Play this ability as a mana source. So that tells you how old that is. Visions. Everyone loved.
Well, the next card I've got on my list, luckily, it deals with enchantments, and I think it's probably going under everybody's radar at the moment. And that is Pure Poison, which is a sorcery green common. It costs just the green. Choose one. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment, or each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. So,
which makes this amazing.
So, Ristic Studies, see ya.
Yeah,
Mm.
and
I
also-
mean,
I was gonna say the fact of this being just one mana, because I usually use what's it called, Tribute, which is a green and a colorless, but only hits enchantments. The fact that this is modal,
and it hits each opponent, so that's 3 enchantments gone. Obviously, the artifact mode is probably going to be a bit harder to hit because of treasures, but being able to snipe just one ring, like, just pays this off in dividends.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the simple fact of, like, if you, and there is going to be a situation if somebody's playing this and they're going to get the turn 1 like dream pool where, you know, more than one person's going to play, say, a mana crypt, one person's going to play like a soul ring, somebody else gets down like some sort of turn 2 rock, and then you just drop this and they all just go, oh. And you're like, yeah, thanks for playing.
Yeah, and even from a standard perspective, Atraxa is the big scary threat of the format. So just 1 mana, kill your Atraxa. I mean, sure, you drew 7 cards, but this is the best I've got. Yeah, gonna snag a bunch of foils of these, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did that with Smothering Tithe. It was hilarious because at the point Smothering Tithe foils were selling for, I think, $5.
Oh wow.
And I went on a spending spree and bought up as many as I could. I bought up something like, I think it was 32 was the maximum I could find, and then I sat on them for months, watching them go up, because I was telling everyone, like, during that set spoiler season and all my streams, I was like, get your Smothering Tithes, you read it, it just reads like one of those cards you have to have. And I was saying to people, like, preferably foil, but like, even if you get as many non-foils as you can, they're going to be worth money. Like, you're definitely going to, like, you know, it looks like you're going to double your investment when you look at how powerful the card is. And so many people were like, no, no, no. And then it started going up and they were like, oh, we've made a mistake. And I was like, I haven't. I made a good chunk of change from that.
Yep. Smothering Tithe, pretty good. This card also deals with Smothering Tithe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Moving away from green. Well, actually, no, we can stay in green. We've got a green and blue card, Doppelgang.
Yeah.
X, green, blue, sorcery. For each of X target permanents, create X tokens that are copies of that permanent. So for paying 1 for X, so that's 5 mana in total, you get a copy of it. Pretty crap. If we put 2 into it, so you get to target 2 things, you get 2 copies of each of those. So that's 4 tokens that you're getting. And then you put 3 mana into it. Now, sure, that's 11 mana total. You get to target 3 things, but you get 3 copies of it. That's 9 tokens. And obviously, you're throwing in your, Mondrax, your Anointed Processions, and this card just goes crazy. And the fact that it says just target permanents, you can copy treasures. So if you've got a Academy Factor play, you just need to get a scientific calculator and start doing some crazy things. Oh, I think I forgot to post the link in.
That's right.
I got it.
You got it.
The dumb thing here is that I read this somehow as creatures in my mind when I was talking about it with Logan the other day, like yesterday or whatever it was.
Just
now seeing that it's just permanents, I'm like,
yeah.
It's not even permanents you control.
No, there's so many
there's
gross things I can do with this.
Yep. And the fact that obviously if you pay 2 mana and they destroy one of them, it's not going to fizzle it because they'd have to destroy both. So it's either
you know what this goes in, don't you? This goes in my low-key Volrath, the Shape Stealer deck.
Yeah, wow. And we all know that's Jace. That's 100% Jace cosplaying as an elf in that picture. There's no way that's not Jace.
I mean, you can say that it's not Jace, but quite frankly, he's probably mind wiped me, and I don't remember what I did last night. I will always make that joke about Jace. It's your own fault, Wizards. You should never have done it.
Yeah, this card, it's probably going to... If you see this card being cast and nobody can do anything about it, it's probably game over.
Yeah.
It seems.
How do you cast this spell for just X's 3 and just not win the game right there?
Oh god, yeah.
I wonder how many different treatments this is going to have, because I want this... If it's going to have that, like, cool...
It's just the 2.
Boring. I was like, if it was going to have, like, the cool, like, investigation treatment, I would... even more.
I believe it's only creatures that got the investigation treatment.
I'm sure I saw...
Case file treatments, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
the
or the magnifying glass.
magnifying glass, right?
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right.
That's a bunch of stuff, but this one only has the extended borderless.
Boo. No, the case file one, I'm not... Like, I looked at those and I was like, yeah, like, I get it, but that's just, meh. Fine. It's fine. But the magnifying glass one, I was like, oh, that makes things look very pretty.
But yeah, I love Doppelgang. Seems very cool. I love the idea of, just making a token of the most annoying things on the board. Being like,
I think
okay,
every
now
time...
I have these as well.
Yeah, I think every time I play this, I'm gonna sing Doppelgang Gang, Doppelgang Gang, Doppelgang Gang, just for the fun of it.
And don't forget as well, you can also just copy this spell.
Oh no.
Yep. Yeah, instead of paying extra for the extra tokens, just
Fresh,
pay 2 mana.
I promise you, I will not play this in any of my spell copy decks that I've now taken apart anyway.
I make no such promises.
Because there's a commander I was thinking of, Kylox or whatever his name is, that I think everyone just expected that I would play. And I looked at it and went, I mean, it's good, but other stuff does it better.
Oh, Kylox from this set?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that one was a bit overcosted. Yeah.
It's worth pointing out just again how crazy this spell is. We did have Rite of Replication, which is the 4 mana, create a copy of target creature, and then you could kick it for 5, so 9 mana and create 5 of those tokens. Getting 9 tokens for just 2 mana more seems a bit good. The fact that it copies anything.
Gosh. Oh my god. Yeah. Like I feel like this is one of those cards that people aren't wrapping their head around until they like see it on the board and someone goes, yeah, I put like an amount of mana into this and now I have 15 extra permanents on the board.
You're playing blue green as well, right? So the dream here is you're playing against your opponent who's got the it's the Jeskai 4/4 flyer, makes X spells, costs 1 less each target.
Oh, Hinata.
Hinata, yeah. Just imagine, because you're playing blue, so there's no way you don't run a mind control effect.
Mm-hmm.
So you yoink someone's Hinata, and then you cast Doppelgang and just have all your X costs reduced by 1.
Yeah. Yeah, you've used your first clone on their Hinata.
Yeah. Then you just go... That's the dream. That's the commander dream right there. All right, enough gushing about Magical Christmas Land.
Oh, yeah, my head's spinning now.
Let's stay in blue. They haven't released the English name yet. Scryfall has just got it
one.
as what is it?
Is it the Gamer Chair?
Nah, this is Engine Engineer. So he's a 3 mana 2/3, so 2 generic and a blue. Vidalcan, Artificer, Detective. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, investigate. Activated abilities of artifacts you control cost 1 less to activate.
No thanks.
This effect can't reduce hit to less than 1. So Training Grounds is a pretty good card.
Yeah.
So
it's in standard.
Yeah, so getting, more Training Grounds effects that give you artifacts. And again, it investigates, so you're creating a clue token. So if you had, I don't know, an Academy Manufacturer in play, there's your infinite treasures right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This also slots into the Hobbit's food deck really easily as well.
Hobbit's food won't be blue though, right?
You have to work out a blue in there, but
Black, white, green.
Yeah, is it? I thought it
Yep.
was. I thought it had
Yeah,
blue.
Frodo is black, white. Sam is green, white.
I'm an idiot.
But
this is-
pretty. I mean, this fits in, good chunk of any decks looking to just use and abuse
Yeah, it still
artifacts.
works.
Yeah, if you can think of any artifact that has like an activated ability, whether it's something like a Breya deck has a lot of activated ability, especially on the commander itself.
Obviously, just goes infinite with Basalt Monolith.
Yeah, that's where I was about to go. And you can go all the way up to it's
'Cause
just going infinite with Basalt Monolith. If you make any copies of this, then you're just off the deep end with even like Grim Monolith, which needs 2 extra mana, but it's you sneeze and these kinds of cards go infinite.
Yeah, the problem is that like as soon as I saw this card, the first thing I thought of was You Fresh.
Oh yeah.
It was just like, this is gonna be in a fresh deck for sure.
Okay, that's interesting.
Just like the reduction on the artifact side of things, like on the usage, it's just like so good.
Don't forget, there's this card as well, Clock of Omens, 4 mana artifact, tap 2 untapped artifacts you control, untap an artifact.
Yeah.
So for every artifact you're casting, you're getting basically you get to reduce Clock of Omens cost by half, which is amazing.
Oh yeah.
Wizards, what are you doing to me?
It's all right. Artifacts aren't that good in Commander anyway.
Yeah.
Tell me you've got a fairy for me, Tom.
Let's keep going down the list. All right, I've got a bit of a left wing one. It's not or far right wing, whatever they call it. It's not a fairy. Out of left field. Essence of Antiquity. So this is a 5 mana, so 3 generic and 2 white. A 1/10 that has Disguise. It's an artifact creature golem. As obviously it's got Disguise, and you can flip it up for 3 mana. It says when Essence of Antiquity is turned face up, creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Untap them. So Doran, what's his name?
The dragon.
Tree Man.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the dragon?
Oh yes,
Wilson from Street Fighter.
Is there a Street Fighter card that cares about
Dawson.
as well? Oh, very cool. Yep.
I don't know. This just seems like pretty good.
I mean, it seems
it's a 1/10 as well.
Yeah. Like the fact that you're gonna get out, that you're gonna be able to likely swing with this as a 10 power creature pretty easily.
Obviously that as well.
Mm-hmm.
The fact
that
Dawson's
as well.
Yeah. I mean, you could also chuck this.
Dawson, sorry, Dawson is reach. Never mind, but he still has the kind of cares about it.
I mean, the fact that you could put this in so many decks, just even as just like, well, I want the instant hexproof. That's great, but like more to the point of like chucking it in either one of the cares about defense rather than attack stat to deal damage decks, or even what am I thinking of? Brain fart. Ooh. The equipment artifact decks.
Like a Voltron?
Voltron deck, thank you. Jeez, that took a while. But like, even using this in a Voltron deck as well.
Yeah, and the fact that it untaps all your creatures as well.
Yeah.
Hexproof and untaps them.
I mean, pseudo vigilance is good at the best of times, but with this, like hexproof and pseudo vigilance is just this. I don't. Why is this an uncommon and not a rare? I don't understand.
You still got to disguise it, right? Still 6 mana to.
I think you're gonna be able to like pull it off pretty easy.
I thought this was pretty spicy. This is just asking to go on all of those sorts of decks.
Yeah.
And from the cards that we know so far, it doesn't look like there's a lot of turn your creatures back face down. Like there's old cards that do that, but there's no new like. And now recloak all your board or whatever.
Yep, there's the red sorcery that says cloak up to any number of creatures you control, shuffle them and put them face down. Red, it's like reveal. Just know it's Atrata being outed at the party. That's the artwork.
Oh, expose the culprit?
I think it's that one. Let's see if I can find it.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah. There is.
Yes, I think that's the only one that we. Yeah, that's the only one that we got at the moment.
Yeah, you either turn one creature face up, or all your disguised creatures face back down, or any number of your disguised creatures face down.
And just while we're on that card, it feels like that card breaks one of the most important morph rules, which is you're not allowed to mix up your morph cards. Like your opponent needs to know which morph card entered the battlefield when, and it literally says in the rules you're not allowed to mix them up. And there's this card that says, turn them face down, give them a shuffle.
Yeah, that's
so interesting, because it's like this one is much closer to like some of the manifest cards that do that as well. There's like a card. I know there's a black card that like manifests someone's whole graveyard and then shuffle them on your board. I'm like, oh wow, yeah. There's some strange stuff that mixes up your cards. I feel like they're only very strict with actual factual morph.
This doesn't actually work with Arcades that well, unless you can give it Defender.
Oh, okay. Arcades just cares about.
It's just Doran, then, is it?
Yeah, it's just Doran. But there's a couple of like non-commander creatures that do it as well. So,
if you're on like High Alert or something, the enchantment.
Yeah,
like, there's a few things that make creatures care about their toughness rather than their power.
Exactly. It's very easy to do. It's very easy. This is still a powerhouse, if you ask me.
Gauntlets of Light or something. Yeah.
I'm going to have a whine and a moan as well. So I was a big fan of Kadena Slinking Sorcerer, the Morph Commander back from 2019.
Yeah.
And we've had so many great Morph cards, or disguise cards. They're all in white. What the hell? Come on! Like we've got. Okay, so we'll go on to like I think maybe there's two disguise cards in Kadena's colors, but let's talk about this game-breaking card that feels like this is new Roaming Throne on a Streetwise Lookout. Is the 3-mana 2/2, so 2 generic and a white, or a legendary human scout. Creatures you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. If an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less triggers, that ability triggers an additional time.
I'm going to have to bring up a tweet thread for this, aren't I?
This one was on my shortlist. I was like, God, I feel like someone's going to mention it no matter what. I'll save my spot.
This is big boy card.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, because Dan from Wizards was talking about it because he was like, I think I'll build a deck around this. And then trying to find the post because I think it was Jamwa who we're going to have on Commander the Gathering next Tuesday.
Fun.
Yeah, and Dan, and we were talking about like cards that would go in this deck. So Dan,
like, I was gonna say, like, worst case scenario, you play Solemn Simulacrum. You get 2 lands, and then when it dies, you draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was what was it? Assemble the players. 1 colorless and 1 white.
That was the next card. That was the next card I was going to talk
off
about.
The top, yeah.
Well, too bad. Yep. So 1 colorless, 1 white for an enchantment. Look at the top card of your library at any time, which I've always had fun with because I'll just do it randomly during someone's turn just to look at the top card and be annoying. Um, Once each turn, you may cast a creature spell with power 2 or less from the top of your library. Yeah. Then if you're thinking about maybe things from older sets like, I don't know, Concerted Effort, which is 2 colors, 2 white enchantment at the beginning of each player's upkeep. All creatures you control gain flying until the end of turn. If a creature you control has flying, the same is true for Fear, First Strike, Double Strike, Land Walk, Protection, Trample, Vigilance. And then playing it with things like, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of things like Ashen Foremost, from I think Dragons of Tarkia or Khans. It's 1 white, 2 colors for a human warrior 2/2 with double strike. When it enters the battlefield or attacks another target warrior you control, creature you control gains double strike until the end of turn. Playing things like a Chroma's Will, 3 colors and 1 white for an instant. It's modal, so choose one. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, you can choose both. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until the end of turn. Creatures you control gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors until the end of turn. Like, there's so much stuff you can do with mono white little dudes. Like, it's just so good.
Or even if you're not in like mono white, you've got just things like Lotus Cobra.
Oh yeah.
Play a land, get 2 more.
Yep.
What else have we got here? Spellseeker. Search up 2 more. Another card. Jewelcaster Mage. Copy the spell again.
Yeah. I'm
So many cool things you can
Eternal
do.
Witness. Get back 2 things.
As soon as this was spoiled, I went into a Discord I'm in with some friends, and I just posted 3 images of cards and a big sad face emoji, and those 3 cards were Dockside Extortionist, Orcish
Yeah.
Bowmasters, and
Yeah.
Ragavan. And I went, this is going to suck. I'm gonna hate this. Like, if you
The
just
fact
start,
that they can't be blocked like Ragavan with this, oh my god, going like what the can't be blocked. Oh great.
Can you say Australian Highlander?
yeah, it's like if you're branching out of mono white, you've got all sorts of ridiculous stuff. But even if you're in mono white, Esper Sentinel, I don't know, like all of your life gain stuff, anything that are those
Is
small draw
the
cards.
what's the librarian from Baldur's Gate? If your opponent would search a library for a card,
Ogma.
yeah, he triggers.
Archivist of Ogma. Teshar, Ancestor's Apostle, the bird that gets reanimates small things if you cast historic spells.
What's that
And
dinosaur
then if
with
he
the
reanimates
triggers again?
things, they reanimate more.
Yep.
Or trigger more, sorry.
All your Monastery Mentors, which is in Standard, by the way. Have fun out there with Delaney and Monastery Mentor. I guess it doesn't work after it prowesses once. Never mind. Don't listen to me.
It's still good. +2/+2 for just a single spell.
Yep. Oh, Stuffy Doll? Huh?
There's the new Stuffy Doll. I was going to put that
Double
on my
Stuffy
list.
Doll. Yep. The new black Stuffy Doll. It works with the red Goblin one as well.
Brash.
Taunter.
Brash Goblin, is it?
Taunter,
Brash.
yeah.
Taunter, yeah.
Brash Taunter.
Skyclave Apparition. It's the other one, the werewolf one. The one that flips into the red card. I've totally forgotten its name. Does the same thing.
Yeah, I saw there was an infinite with that. And the black one, I think, maybe. But I would have to look it up to actually remember.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah, this is probably going to be hottest. I mean, this is easily hottest card of the whole set.
Yes.
This does go in the Hobbit food deck.
Yes, that one does. You get double Frodo and double Sam
really
triggers.
easily. Yeah,
Only
Sam's just like, hey, look at all these foods you can have, and then Mirkwood Bats are like,
twice a time.
Yeah, and Mirkwood Bats is just looking at everyone, just going like, you thought I was a problem before? Guess what? New problem.
Does the ring tempting you give the creature an ability?
So the ring tempting is a trigger. So doesn't it say like if you do X, the ring tempts you?
So
Oh,
the
sorry, I
ring
mean
tempts
the
you
ring's
from
abilities
cards,
itself.
but the abilities are your ring bearer is legendary and can't be blocked by creatures with power greater. Number 2 is whenever your ring bearer attacks, draw a card and discard a card. Whenever you're
That's not an ability on the creature though.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah,
So this is
it's the ring
emblem
itself. It's not the
triggering.
creature. Yeah,
Cool. Okay, so they don't get extra ring abilities,
not
but
from
you
the
will be
ring. But I
tempted
mean, you don't
twice
care
by
about that.
small creatures.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
doesn't
well,
really matter in the food deck anyway.
Sure. For the Frodo and Sam, I was like, oh, is Frodo gonna hit you and like drain 6 from all opponents or whatever?
No, luckily
no,
not.
not quite.
But it doesn't need to, because if you can get Mirkwood Bats out, like, you're gonna kill the table real easy, real quick.
Smoke with Bats is a great one as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just gutted. White has just eaten up all of the good morph stuff.
Yeah.
What a surprise!
We do have 2. I managed to find 2 that fit nicely into Kadena. Got one that's just come out, I think today. Got Cryptic Cloak, 3 mana artifact, 2 generic and a blue. When Cryptic Cloak coat enters the battlefield, cloak the top card of your library, then attach Cryptic Cloak coat to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked. And then you can pay 1 generic and a blue, return Cryptic Coat to its owner's hand.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yep, I really like that. Just reusable cloaking.
I really liked those enchantments from like Fate Reforged and stuff that would just like manifest the top card of your library and probably usually give them an ability or some sort of buff or something. Like,
yeah, so just to make sure everybody who's listening is aware, if you blink a morph card or a disguise card, when it returns to the battlefield, it will return face up. So obviously you're in blue, you've probably got ways to manipulate the top card of your library, so this is just really nice way to, again, repeatable cloaking effect is really good. Speaking of cloaking stupid things, interesting thing I've just realized, sorry, with the coat, it doesn't have an equip cost.
Oh.
So the only way that it equips is at ETBs.
On the cloaked creature that it appears, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I mean, it's obviously unblockable. The creature's unblockable, so just simply being able to attack and then flipping up whatever massive threat you're flipping up.
Your Blightsteel Colossus or whatever.
Yeah, where is it? Oh, I forgot to put it in chat. Let me check it in there. Excited to get my hand on that. Also excited to get my hands on this one. Nafar Evolved Enigma. This is a spicy disguise card. So 4 mana, 2 generic, blue and a green. We get a 3/4 Elf Ooze Wizard. Beginning of combat on your turn, cloak a card from your hand, or you can put a +1/+1 counter on each colorless creature you control. So Vanifar and the Eldrazi obviously get together here.
Yeah, those are colorless.
No, because it's cloak a card from your hand. So you're cloaking your Miracle or your.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sorry. I thought you were making a joke that was like, yeah, you can buff your colors.
I mean, yeah.
Nazis are already out. Finally, my blue-green Devoid deck is coming online.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Eldrazi just the biggest stuff, but being able to, cloak anything else.
Yeah.
Again, you're playing blue, so blinking stuff isn't too hard.
Yeah, that's very fun. Yeah, a lot of a bit show and tell-y sort of card. Getting to put things in your hand out from your hand for free is pretty strong.
And as I said, fits nicely into Kadena as well. Got some Kadena support, which is nice.
Yes.
And obviously with Kadena, so she's obviously got the ability, first face down creature spell you cast costs 3 less each turn, so you play for free. But she also says whenever a face down creature enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. So with Vannifar, yeah, it's just cloak a card, draw a card, with obviously Kadena in play.
It's good that it just said face down creature as opposed to
Yeah.
any
Yeah,
sort of strict keyword or ability. It's future proofing.
Or they've done that I think even if you go back to the older Morph cards as well, they've done a lot of that.
Oh yeah, I guess secret plans and things. You look at a face down card that exists, or maybe even all the way back to whenever Morph was first around,
Odyssey.
Scourge or whatever. Odyssey, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's pretty much it. I mean, the final one that I think everyone is going to want to pick up is Time Novelist.
Oh yeah.
Everyone should know this one. 3 mana for a 1/3 red goblin bard. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on Crime Novelist and add a red mana. So, you know, old Dockside Extortionist, and that card. I think they finally broke that card.
Oh my god!
Hey wizards! Just stop.
Artifacts were really underpowered, so they needed like a card like this to just bring artifacts to the forefront.
Couldn't have possibly said non-token.
Right.
I guess that wouldn't work with clues.
I was about to say, they want it clearly to work with clues.
Why would it said a clue or non-token artifact?
Because he's a crime novelist.
Yeah, I would let them add the extra few words on. If they just said clue or non.
I mean, they've got the room. They've got the room clearly.
Yeah. And if you have Delny out, you get the first one. The first trigger's doubled, or so first and second. Yeah, the first one's doubled. Incredible powerhouse. God.
Alright, I'll probably talk everybody's ear off with.
No, these are some great cards. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I've got no idea where these cards are going. I don't personally have the decks built for them, but definitely stuff I want to tinker with. I mean, there's so many more. I could literally keep on going. I limited myself to, I think, the 10 I've just gone over.
But you didn't go over any fairies.
This is a very spicy set. I like them.
I mean, are there any decent fairies?
There's right now there's 3 fairies in the entire.
I don't remember.
There's one I've just gone past, not very good.
There's a Crime Stopper Sprite, which reminds me of the one from a previous set where it just enters and taps something down. It's a stun counter on it if you evidence it for 6. There's a Disguise Fairy, turn face up. You get to anticipate, kind of. Look at the top 2, one in the hand, one in the graveyard. And Kellen's a fairy. Kellen's back. Kellen's a fairy because he's half fae. Human fairy detective.
No one needed that.
And he's blue and green now. I can't wait for 5-color Kellen to a 5 color Omnath.
If we did need more things to talk about, obviously they've spoiled the entirety of Ravnica Clue today as well. So we have every card for that.
It's funny because I was thinking about this, and I wonder if I can wrangle up a copy from either Wizards or the company that does PR for them, and doing like an in-person thing with these, because they seem really cool, and I'm a sucker for, magic stuff that's kind of magic but on the side of magic, like they did for like Ixalan and some other sets as well.
Oh, Explorers of Ixalan.
Yeah. I feel like these products don't get enough love, and I think that this one will get plenty of love because of the lands, maybe.
It could be fun. There's there's a lot more clue in this one than Cluedo in this one.
There's a lot more everything in this one than running around basically a Monopoly board, being bored to shit. This one looks so much better than the other ones. Like, the other ones have been like, kind of like, oh yeah, that's cool. Thanks for, you know, not making Arch Enemy when you probably should have just made an Arch Enemy set like for this particular set, but you know, failed on it.
Yeah, lots of good commander stuff in this set.
Yeah.
I think my current top pick is Senator Peacock.
Ooh.
5 mana, 3/4. Human Advisor. Let me chuck it in chat if you've not done it. There we go. Sorry, yeah, 5 mana, 3/4. So it's 3 generic, 2 blue. Artifacts you control are clues in addition to their other types, and have the clue text. And whenever you sacrifice a clue, the target creature can't be blocked this turn.
Yeah, I mean, talk about just straight into lowness cards. Just, oh, good, all my big creatures are unblockable as well. Great.
There's also the 6 mana black card that says ETB investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, target opponent gets 2 poison counters. So turn your treasures into clues and then just sacrifice them to just
melt everyone.
That clearly won't be problematic. I don't know what you're talking about. Just because my clue activations are 0. And I'm creating them at magnificent speed.
But just even so, because thinking back to the Doctor Who set, I ragged on, I think, nearly every card that spoke about clues in that set, because they were all just useless and barely interacted with the rest of the cards of the deck.
Yeah.
Now, we finally got some decent clue support. I probably need to go back and look through all of the Doctor Who cards, the historic ones from the first through to 7th, or the 8th Doctor.
Classic
the historic ones. That's where the majority of the clue support was.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to look back and be like, okay, were these obviously these were probably being designed at the same time? It's like, okay, what is the real synergies there that end up happening? Speaking of synergies, there's a food card in the clue deck as well, or the clue product as well. We got let's get her up here. Apothecary White.
Yep.
I can get in the chat there. We go. It's a 4 mana 3/4 with vigilance. Whenever you attack, you create a food for each player being attacked. And you can pay white and tap it, and tap X untapped foods you control to create X/1/1 humans. That's it. Just a single mana and any amount of food that you want. Like, oh, okay, great. Just bolster my entire board. Every one of my foods represents one creature that will now be on the board.
We don't have a card that turns artifacts into foods yet, do we?
No, I don't think so. There's a lot of things that do a lot of stuff with artifacts, but not that, I don't think.
Okay, only a matter of time then.
Yeah, I can't wait for Academy Manufactor 2, that whenever you make a blood or a map or a whatever.
I'm pretty sure that's coming in. That'll be coming in the Fallout set. Whenever you make a junk.
Oh god, yeah, that's right.
Junk token.
I was playing with some friends the other day, and one of them was like, "I want to test out this Nuka-Cola machine card."
I busted.
And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. What does this do? Oh, you make a food and you tap treasure when you eat food, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we worked out very, very quickly that he accidentally put infinites in the deck. This infinite was just like some of the Hobbit cards. I'm like, oh, yep, that's great. He's like, I didn't realize it was going to do this. Sorry.
I keep forgetting the Fallout thing is going to release so close to this as well.
We get spoilers this time next month. Previews start this time next month for Fallout.
It never ends. It never ends.
Because I was on a stream recently with some friends over at MTG Lexicon, and one of their hosts was using the like the Mothman as commander, and it was just so fun. Like I just looked at it and I went, I don't even care what's going to be in this deck. Like just the commander alone is going to make this like the most fun deck to play. Like
all the commanders are pretty fun just
They're all
by
pretty
themselves.
good.
Like Mothman and who's the Emperor?
Oh,
Forgotten his
Caesar.
name. Yeah, Caesar. He looks like just again just in a generic Mardu token deck. It's really good. Is it Dogmeat? Is just the most
Dogmeat.
meh
Mhm.
one
Yeah.
of the lot.
But
I think it's
All
Voltron
things
one,
considered.
right?
yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to
that's
say
right.
like
Yeah, Dogmeat's Voltron. Yeah.
everyone's favorite of the whole Fallout series. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a friend who used to work for Bethesda who's just like, I feel like he's made his entire persona around dog meat. Well, that and cinnamon scrolls, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I have to have if there wasn't a sweet roll card that's already been
Yeah.
shown off, I need it. Okay, I found this infinite combo with the barbed servitor and the werewolf.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. The werewolf says whenever a permanent you control is dealt damage, it deals that the werewolf itself deals that much damage to any target. So if it's ever dealt damage, you just deal that much damage to the servitor, which makes your opponent lose life. But because a permanent you control was dealt damage, the werewolf triggers again. And just shoots the damage at the barbed servitor, which makes your opponent lose life.
Is this in standard?
Yes, until the end of the year.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I
Thanks,
mean it's the
wizards.
night side of the
Oh, okay. It
the
requires
werewolf.
effort then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit too much, but still, like,
Well, night for it to go night is depending on your opponent. You're always at the mercy of your opponent.
yeah.
Yeah. True. Little bit more difficult.
We've got the easier combo anyway. We've got Soul Cauldron and the blue Merfolk. Where is it?
And didn't
Forensic Researcher. 3 mana, 1/3. Says untap another target permanent you control. And you combine that with the Merfolk enchantment from Lost Caverns, which says whenever a Merfolk you control becomes tapped, create a 1/1 Merfolk with hexproof. So you just forensic researchers generate infinite 1/1s.
yeah, that's
Hexproof.
gross.
Right.
Yep, coming to standard near you. Again, it's not like out of the ordinary. Agatha Soul Cauldron is already like fantastic, so you
Yeah.
can easily slot that in.
Ooh.
That's still $1 billion. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, good. It is. I sold a Soul Cauldron recently, and yes, still $1 billion.
Yeah, that card's never coming down in price.
No, I was like,
No.
do I keep it? Do I sell it? Full art foil, just sell it and turn the money back inwards on the Fey Dominion deck that I'm building.
Yeah, sell that for a whole commander deck or whatever.
Pretty much is what I did. So I have Fairy Dominion on the way. I have a collector box of Doctor Who on the way. Actually, I got both the Fey Dominion and the Enchantments deck both for like, I think it was $110 for the both of them. So I was just like, yeah, the Wilds of Eldraine enchantment deck, commander deck.
Oh, sure.
So I was like, I'll just take them both. Like $60 for one or $110 for both. I may as well just grab both of them for it.
Yeah.
Fairies. I'm so excited to like go back to playing fairies.
Yeah.
Surely, would fairies be in Boomburrow? Is that purely just going to be animals?
In which, sorry?
Oh.
Boomburrow, the
Boomburrow.
Red Wool set.
No idea. Probably just going to be animals, I imagine.
Yeah, we've seen some the animals in the splash art. They might have a little like Thumbelina kind of thing.
That's
going
right.
on.
You'll get your cowboy fairies then.
Yeah,
Rootin'
yeah.
tootin' cowboy fairies.
When Kellen and Oko are there,
Yeah,
No.
because Callan's gonna be there. We already
he's
know.
the main character now.
Stupid sexy Oko.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's where the other Lonus was. It was in the Clue deck. The Clue product.
Pretty sure that we've already seen an infinite with her as well.
Oh, with Lonus on all counter.
Yeah.
Investigate. Sack a clue. Put a counter on. Another permanent you control.
So there's the artifact. There's a 4-mana artifact that has Echo 4, and it says sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So you just play that artifact, sacrifice a clue or any artifact to put a +1/+1 counter on.
It's like
What's her name? She generates a clue. You then sacrifice, and you just rinse and repeat.
Oh yes, Extruder. Extruder, 4-mana, Echo 4, second artifact, put a +1 counter on target creature. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just great.
Yeah, and you're playing blue-green, so you've got the best protection in the world. Oh, and the fact that she has Evolve, so you play Extruder, she'll get a +1/+1 counter to the clue
Immediately
token.
make a clue.
Yeah. Because you've played her on turn 3, you're playing Extruder on turn 4. There you go. Go kill someone.
Just look in someone's direction and go, hey, I know it's turn 4, but I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, he has infinite commander damage.
Why me? Because I can.
You didn't play a blocker. Too bad.
It's alright, and that's when someone flashes in Portal Manipulator.
No. Yep. Is that one in Clue or is that in the actual set?
That's in the clue set. Portal Manipulator, 2 hybrid blue-white, flash for a 3/2. When it ETBs during declare attacker step, choose target player and any number of target attacking creatures their opponents control. Those creatures are now attacking that player.
Oh,
Yeah, I loved it.
this is absolutely right up my alley. Now I'm like, well, I guess that I did get that card from the Jurassic set, the Permission Denied or whatever it's called. And I really did want to play with Reflector Mage.
Yeah, I love a souped up Portal Mage. That's pretty cool.
All right. How
They also,
Oh, go for it.
I was going to say, they also printed in your Fairies deck the Signpost. What's it? Something Signpost that does the same thing?
Yes. I don't remember the name of it. But, there's a couple of things that I was looking at for that fairy deck and the better way to like enhance it, which is change out the commander for a 3-color commander. The old array. No, I can't remember her name. The old 3-color fairy.
Oh, yeah.
Esper one?
The one
Yes,
that cares
the
about
one.
artifacts and enchantments, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was thinking of also putting Ariat of the Charmed Apple in the deck as well. Because, you know, that can be hilarious. Each creature that's enchanted by an aura you control can't attack you or planeswalker you control. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses X life and you gain X life, where X is the number of auras you control. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
See how many people I can piss off at the one time that are like, hey, if I attack you, can you block this creature for me so I don't die? All right. Well, I think we have reached all we're going to reach today. So, Tom, where can we find your stuff?
You can find me mostly on YouTube. Head on over to youtube.com/@AttackonCardboard. Or you can find me on Twitter as well at Attackoncards because of character limitations. Yeah, I make YouTube videos about magical cards.
And they're very good, so people should definitely check them out. As for us, you'll find us here on Twitch under Command of the Gathering. You can find our VODs over on YouTube under Franken's TCG. And you can pick up this podcast wherever your podcast aggregator is going to pick them up, because it'll be up on Spotify in like a couple of days probably, when I get around to setting all that up properly, because I didn't probably think about this as well as I should have. But you know what? We've done it, and it's episode 1, and I don't care. You got anything you need to pump out there, Fresh?
I was waiting for my lead in. That's all right. You can come and follow me on Twitter at freshmaker__. You can come and talk to me about all sorts of different things: magic, video games, wrestling, all sorts of stuff.
Fantastic. Also, if you are in Australia and you're looking for a new playmat, a custom playmat, a cool playmat, or a mousepad, go and check out Quokka Mousepads. They don't sponsor us or anything, but they are, Australians, and they're really cool, and they do free Australian shipping, so that's a triple bonus, to be honest. And I think I'm going to go and make myself a custom playmat for stream.
Ooh.
Do the thing. And we will see you all on Commander Night.
Hell yeah. Thanks for joining us, Tom.
I was about to say the same
Thanks so much for having me.
We'll obviously have you for Commander anyway, which we'll work out later. So thanks everyone for watching and listening. And we will catch you soon.